it's like 2022, the beginning, roughly January of 22, made myself a bag tag for my notes. Going back to the no laying up connection, was in the Roost program when they started that. I was in the Ohio group and made myself one with the logo out of just handmade, like literally handmade. And then, made one, and then a couple of buddies were like, hey, it's all right. Can you make a few more? So, then you get 50 or 60. I'm like, oh man, what am I going to do? And then I'm like, I might wonder what a laser engraving machine costs. So I bought one of those, and then a couple other groups were like, hey, I see you're making those. And then you start a website, and next thing you know, you got a factory in your house, and you're making, a couple hundred bag tags a week.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Whole Story Podcast. Robbie and Jonathan here, and we've got our guest Jim. I'll give him a more formal introduction here in a second. I just want to point out, this is the Whole Story Podcast. We are all about golf stories. If you like good golf stories like the one we're going to talk about today, give us a follow or a like on your favorite podcast platform, subscribe on YouTube. I mean, we're trying to grow this thing, so the more likes and follows and the more people you tell about us, the more we can grow and have more people like Jim to, one, hear his story, hear why he loves golf and what he does. But so we appreciate it. Also want to point out that at Best Ball, we help produce a couple other shows. Pitchers on the Scorecard with Seth McWhorter and myself, but mainly Seth. He's a very creative guy. If you've seen the Colonial that's getting played, or they're playing at Colonial this weekend, he released today that he did that logo, but did the tree farm. He's done a lot of the no laying up stuff. So Pitchers on the Scorecard, it's all about golf creative stuff. And then Caddy Tales podcast with Mark the Caddy, one of everybody's favorite Twitter follows. But yeah, give that one a listen. A couple caddy guys just talking about golf and life, and it's a lot of fun. I do want to mention one of our partners in this thing, Western Birch. We were talking with Jim earlier. He went by and saw Lewis, a friend of the show and of Best Ball. If you want custom golf tees, and we're going to be talking about custom things today, custom golf tees is exactly what Western Birch does. They can take pretty much any image that you want to give them and put it on the head of the golf tee, which is just, it blows my mind how they can do it. But tons of color options, and they're great to work with. So visit westernbirch.com. If you use the code BESTBALL, you'll actually get a little free gift with your order, but we recommend definitely going to Western Birch. But let me get to our guest for today, Jim Flannery, located in Ohio. I think Cleveland, he mentioned. He's the founder of Buckeye Bag Tags, obviously a good Ohio name there. They make premium handmade accessories and gifts for golf, travel, and more. And I like this line, and Jonathan and I kind of talk about it all the time as far as like a startup or one of these companies. Line on his website, Buckeye Bag Tags began in a garage with a single bag tag for an internet golf club. So, Jim, thanks for joining us on the Whole Story Podcast.
It sure did. A couple of thousand bag tags later, it's been quite the adventure. Started in, it's like 2022, the beginning, roughly January of 22. Made myself a bag tag for my notes. Going back to the no laying up connection, was in the Roost program when they started that. I was in the Ohio group and made myself one with the logo out of just handmade, like literally handmade. And then made one, and then a couple of buddies were like, hey, it's all right. Can you make a few more? So then you get 50 or 60. I'm like, oh man, what am I going to do? And then I'm like, I might wonder what a laser engraving machine costs. So I bought one of those, and then a couple other groups were like, hey, I see you're making those. And then you start a website, and next thing you know, you got a factory in your house, and you're making, a couple hundred bag tags a week.
Next thing you know, you never play golf, and instead you just
Yeah,
make
you
bag
just make
tags,
stuff for
right?
the people that are playing golf, and
That's right.
but it's fun. It's been a fun adventure, and it's it's a good way to keep connected with the guys I play with, and I've met people literally all over the world. I've sent bag tags to Australia, to the UK, Europe, and Canada, all over the United States, and it was it's a pretty cool thing. It's fun.
Well, before you started making bag tags just randomly in your garage, how did you get into golf at all? I mean,
Yeah.
what drew you to the sport?
So for me, I wasn't the kind of guy that grew up playing. I grew up playing sports. It was baseball, football, basketball, and then as I aged out, yeah, of those kind of late 20s, my dad's always been a golfer, and he's been in the same Sunday morning group. That was my grandpa's group, and his uncles, and now his friends, and I used to live in Baltimore, so as a way when I came home, I was like, I'll play golf with my dad. It'll be a good way to spend time together. And then you get the bug and you stink and you're like, man, I should be so much better at this, and you're not. And then flash forward 15 years and I still stink, but at least I'm having fun. And since moving back home, I'm actually part of the Sunday morning group now. We play every Sunday morning. Starts the Sunday after Mother's Day. So this past Sunday, didn't make it. I was in Disney World, unfortunately, and it goes through last Sunday in October. So every single Sunday morning, sunrise. So first group out, and that's kind of how I got the bug. Is the way to spend time with my dad, and now I met a lot of great people through a game, and I'll play with anyone. Have clubs, will travel.
That's what we're talking about. We always say like the guest we have on, we seem somehow to make friends with, and we end up playing golf. Like I played with Joe Golf Traveler this past weekend
Yep.
at Pinehurst, and it was awesome. So I mean, the golf community out there for the majority
Yep.
is a great group, and like you said, have clubs, we'll travel, we'll play with anybody. So
Absolutely.
you mentioned you made that first bag tag for the roost for yourself.
Yep.
How did you figure out? Were you in woodworking? Did you
Yeah.
just grab a note card and write, this
Yeah.
is Jim's golf bag and stick it on there? What
No,
happened?
so it's probably in the other room behind me, but yeah, I was into like doing some little woodworking type projects, renovated our house, and did a lot of that. I was not like a crafts person prior. My dad, like I said, going back to my dad, could barely screw in a light bulb. But I was like, one day I wanted like a bookshelf, and I couldn't find one that I liked, so I bought some tools and I made one, and it was crappy, but it was something. And then the next thing you know, you got a table saw and a drill, and you got all the stuff. And so the first one I made with a table saw, and like handmade, cut it, and did all the art by hand, and did all that, and it took forever. Probably took half a day to make one. And then yeah, and then from there, people are like, oh, I want one, I want one, I want one, and then you got to make 50, and you're like, man, that's not going to work. And then you do some research, and I picked up, like I said, I picked up my first laser engraving machine, like from Amazon. I bought the cheapest one. Got basements filled with smoke, the whole nine. I'm like, man, and then you just kind of figure it out from there. And to the point now, I have a fleet of laser engraving machines upstairs, and so we can engrave on tags, we can engrave metal, plastic, cut it out. Now it's all cut by laser. I don't gotta literally cut them all down by hand. I did. When you get into like doing the volume I've done, I do all the bag tags for Club TFE for the fried egg, and that was my first big
Nice.
order. And I was like, man, like now I got to figure that out. And you're tying all the lanyards by hand, and you're cutting them all with a knife and scissors, and burning the ends with the lighter. And then like, man, there's got to be a way to. This is easier. And you do the research, like, oh, they make a machine for that. And then you're like, oh, buy one of those machines. The next thing you know, you got three laser engraving machines. Table saws, band saws. I actually spent a lot of money last year redoing the garage because I've spent so much time in there. I redid the floors. It's got air conditioning now. I got a TV out there. I'll put the golf on Sunday and sit at the machines and go to work. And it's a great way to meet people. And like I know there's a logo question coming up later, and I see all the logos. So it's really fun. And like a lot of them are just guys' bachelor party. Like, hey, what can you do? And we come up with something. So it's a way for me to create, flex my creative muscle because I work in real estate finance during the day. Hopefully, maybe one day we'll be doing bag tags full time. But, for me, it's a great way to, be a little creative. I think that's really, look, anyone can make a lot of the stuff we make, honestly. And there's a lot of really amazing golf makers and craftspeople. I know, Atomic Golf, one of your sponsors, he's been helpful to me. I was like, hey, I love your stuff. How do you get that finish? And they're like, yeah, this is how you do it. And now I know how to do that. So it's a great community, and a lot of people can make all the stuff, and And that's great. And I think really where I kind of find a differentiation is like we're soup to nuts. Like you will help you design it, help you pick out colors. It's all inclusive cost, shipping. Like this is what it costs. And at the end of the day, we'll get you hopefully what you want. And made out of the materials you want, at hopefully a reasonable price too. I mean, there's a lot of really great premium stuff, but frankly, when you're not even can afford a $200 ball marker. So, and like, look, people make amazing, amazing stuff, and I love, and I have a lot of that stuff. As a person that makes stuff, I collect it all too. But sometimes you just want something to commemorate a buddy's trip, and hopefully we can help you do it.
Yeah, I would have been lost whenever you went to how to use a table saw and a drill. And my wife would be really upset if I had taken the time to learn how to use those tools and still not be able to like fix crap in our house. So,
Yes, my wife is a
uh,
saint. She lets it all. She lets me play the golf. She lets me, make the golf stuff. So she's upstairs putting the kids to bed now while we get to talk about golf. So I'm a pretty lucky guy in that way.
but you talk about anywhere from like a bachelor party to, massive courses and things like that. What has been some of the most fun projects that you've been able to work on so far?
For me, the fried egg one was awesome, just because I'm a big fan of Andy and Brendan Porath, who's also a Clevelander, by the way, rival high school. But so like that was a good one because it was just like it was the first big scale project. But the ones that really get me going, I do a lot of work with a group in Tennessee in the South called the High Cotton Club, and they're another NLU kind of sub roost group, and they've been amazing to me, and they've kind of entrusted me with a lot of their tea gifting, and they give me a lot of creative license now. Like the first one was like, here's a bag tag, here's the logo, put it on there. And we've gone from that, one wooden bag tag with the logo to these box sets now where it's like custom ball marker shaped like the logo engraved, with a bag tag that's, four different materials printed on it. We're actually doing my first leather bag tag with them coming up, and those will be rolling out of the door hopefully soon. And it's like dyed to match the logo. So like they really and like they're like we're at the point now where like you figure it out. Just tell me what you're gonna do. Their current one is it's their event number 7. It's their 7th edition of this big tournament. So it's a Jack Daniels theme. So all the ball markers are the little bottles shaped like the
That's
bottle
awesome.
with the logo.
I saw that on your Instagram, I believe.
Yeah, that's coming out soon, and then the bag tags for that are going to be clear acrylic with the logo, so it's going to look like the bottle with their names on them. So like they give me pretty like cool creative license. So those are a lot of fun to work on. They've been really fun to work with, and then some guys are just like, hey, I don't know what I want. I got a trip. Like we don't have a theme. Here's where we're going, and what can you do? So like I'll get like people that are like, I'm going to Scotland, and I'll be like, all right, where are you playing? And we'll do all the course logos on one side, maybe a map of Scotland with a little star on each logo, whatever they want to do. So we get it's fun when I get a little bit of creative license to do some stuff, and then I'll get an idea, and then my wife begrudgingly I'll end up buying a $5,000 machine to do this idea. Like, look, I got an idea. I'm telling you, it's gonna be great. What are you buying? Oh,
There's
I
20
bought a
bag
embroidery
tags.
machine. Haven't used it yet, but I got an idea. She's like, "Oh, what are you buying?" I'm like, "Oh, I bought a $5,000 printer because I think I can do this one project." And she's like, "Well, that's an insane thing to do." And I'm like, "Yeah, but think of all the other things I could do in the future." And then you make tags for Disney World when we go, and everyone's happy again.
I saw that too. Well, Bryson's 3D printing in his club, so maybe you can get into the club manufacturing space.
Exactly. And I had a buddy that came over, and we did engravings on his wedges of a couple bunch of his
Nice.
favorite clubs and podcast logos, and put his names on stuff, and like it was just messing around. He's like, "What can I?" I was like, bring a 6 pack over. We'll hang in the garage one day. We'll watch the golf on Sunday, and we'll see if we don't destroy your wedges or not. Maybe they're gonna look cool. Maybe we'll ruin them. Fortunately, we had a few old ones that we could practice on, but it's just fun stuff like that. It's a good way.
It's the
Crochet,
backside. If you mess those up on the backside, you shouldn't be hitting that side anyway.
Exactly. That's what I said. So fortunately, we
crocheted
brought
head
his
covers.
non-gamers in from the previous seasons that we fudged up on one of those a little bit, and then we got the gamers dialed though. They look good.
Have you found certain materials that you like working with? You've already mentioned leather and like
Well,
the hard plastics and the
everything.
metal. Like what?
I think the metal when you do it right it's cool. Like it just looks, and when you do the acrylic right, but like I think when you get really good stuff is when you combine them. When you do take one, I don't have a favorite material. I'm lucky enough that I have the machines now. I can work with whatever I want. It's fun when you get to combine stuff. I did these bag tags and these kind of badges that were they were wood with a brass plate riveted to them. So you on the back side, it had the wood engraved with their name. On the front was the event logo. I kind of took some inspiration from what Seamus Golf did for their tour card. It's like that really cool copper and metal. It's all sandwiched together. It's super cool. I kind of like was inspired by that. And it was just like an event. If you win it, you get a little thing. It's like it's fun when I get to do stuff like that. I work with a guy, Sean at Decks to Divots, who makes stuff out of like the old skateboards. So I do a lot of stuff with him, and he'll send me the skateboard material now. So I did a really fun trophy for these guys in Florida. It was shaped like it was a surfboard made out of the old skateboard material, and then the fin was the stand, so it stands up vertically with the fin of the surfboard. So that was like a super fun one to work on, just because they're like, "Here's an idea we have." Like I'm like, "I got it. Let's elevate the idea." So I don't have a favorite material. I think when you get to multi-material, it ends up looking real cool. And like you get the sometimes we'll do like a wooden bag tag with an acrylic engraved badge on it or something like that. Like those they end up really cool. And you get the divot tools with the wooden handle and then the metal kind of sandwich between them. Those are always real popular.
I've seen the bag tags that have the bottle opener, the metal
Yeah,
bottle
you
opener
get
kind
the
of built
bottle
into it.
opener and
Yeah.
like, and it's all stuff we've designed in house and manufactured ourselves, like soup to nuts. I've designed every part of that. We do like we get the piece of metal, then we can put wood veneers on it. We can put acrylic veneers on it. We can do just the metal, and and if you want a different shape, we can do that. We can figure it out. And it's fun too. Like, and then you learn about materials you don't even know about. Like a lot of these engraving plastics. When I started, it was wood. So wood bag tags. Maple wood bag tags, and now it's whatever your imagination lets you do.
I think I made a comment on one of your videos where you had the laser engraving machine
Yep.
just going like it's
Oh yeah.
mesmerizing to watch that thing in action. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
when we were kids and you had the laser pointer, they said, watch out, that'll put
Oh
somebody's
yeah.
eye out, but yours actually will.
Oh yeah. You got to
um,
wear goggles and everything. It's
yeah.
yeah.
So, I mean, just Jonathan, I don't know if you've seen any of these things, but it's like you watch like this piece of wood and then a laser beam goes across it. And this is
Yep.
the dumbest explanation ever, but laser beam goes across it and all of a sudden image shows up. And it's like,
Yeah.
for somebody that's not making it, it's
It's pretty
remarkable.
amazing to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like and it's like it's so fun to like figure it out, like because like look, I ruin as much stuff as I make well. Like man, that one did not work. So you destroy a lot of things in the process, and I've put my finger under it on
I was about to say,
accident.
you lost a couple fingers
Yeah, I
and
still got all 10 digits, but like I've put my finger under it, and it doesn't feel good. I'll tell you that. But yeah, like, and you just yeah, it's fun. The process is fun. You're like, especially like the first couple times you do something, and like you're engraving the metal, and the sparks are flying everywhere, and you're like, that's kind of cool. And you're like, so you get to do all kinds of fun stuff, or like maybe you try to mask something off and engrave the logo, and then paint fill it, and you peel the masking off. And you're like, wow, that worked. That's cool. And then sometimes it doesn't work, and you're like, man, I wasted a lot of time doing that, but I'll try again.
My wife has talked me out of buying an engraver on more than one occasion because every time, because I get fascinated, like I'm a 12-year-old kid, right? Like you see one and you're like, oh, that's awesome. I wonder how much that costs. And I'll be like, babe, look at this. And she goes, no, just
Yeah.
no, you're not getting that. There's no reason for that to be in our house.
See, that's the
So
only reason I started the business, because then that's just a business expense.
that's right.
It's just part of the business. And then now she's just like, well, when's the business gonna like make money? I'm like, well, I just buy new toys with the business stuff.
Well, that's a great segue because we were going to ask, like,
Yeah.
so obviously the creative side, but talk to us about the business side, right? In terms of finding clients,
Yeah.
what it looks like to, I mean, at this point, you've got repeat folks that are coming
Yep.
back because you're doing a
Yeah.
good
So
job.
I've been 2.5 years in. It's grown way bigger and faster than I like. It started out as just a fun thing to do and a fun way to meet people, and now it's become a legitimate business. Like there's for me, I'm really lucky. I haven't spent a penny on marketing or anything. It's all been organic.
Nice.
It's been Instagram and then kind of golf internet media, we'll call it. Between No Laying Up and the Fried Egg, Golfer's Journal. and then just Instagram and just kind of try to make cool stuff, and then you get word of mouth, and like a guy, I heard about you, you made this, and I don't put my name on anything we make either. It'll come with in a package or a tag with my name on it, but like what I make for you is yours. There's a lot of brands that it's about their brand. For me, it's more about what you want, custom, and I'll make it. And the box will have my name on it or the tag, but like it's yours. It's your item. You don't. So I'm really lucky. Maybe I should put my name on it. Maybe I'll sell more stuff. But but like it's all word of mouth. It's all kind of social media, and like it's been organic. It's been really lucky in that regard. And it could probably, if I was doing this full time, I'd probably try to pour some gas on the fire and do it. I'm thinking about maybe doing the PGA show this year, to really like see what it could be. But for now, it's as a becoming a large-ish side hustle. It's pretty good to just kind of do it organically, and you do stuff like this. And like you said, well, I'll play golf with someone. I give away so much stuff. I donate 5% of all revenue to Girls Golf, which part of the LPGA Foundation. So now they call me, you know, last year, like, who are you? Why do you keep sending us these checks? I'm like, I said I would. It started out as I did $1 per bag tag was my deal. It's on my website, and then I was like, I couldn't keep track of it, so I'm like, all right, 5%, so I can just tally up what I made every quarter, take 5%, and I send it to them, and now I do like I'm technically like a sponsor of whatever the Midwest section, but it's something like nice, like it's fun to give back. Like I don't, I'm lucky enough that I don't like need the money from it, so it's a fun way to give back and be involved. And I have three daughters. So that was kind of like why I chose girls golf. They don't play golf. They don't have an athletic bone in their body, but maybe one day we'll get them out there. That's the goal. We kind of do a couple of range sessions every summer, and they're like, "This is great," and then back on their iPads. But you know, kids are. But so for me, like that's a big part of it too, is the giving back, and that's brought me business too, like unexpectedly. Someone hears about you, and people come find you.
That's awesome. So who's an ideal client for you? Like if people find you, obviously, like you said,
Yep.
organically. Who's an ideal client?
Yeah.
You mentioned earlier they maybe give you
Yeah.
freedom to do some creative stuff.
Yeah, I think it's events. Like I just call it golf events. So like a tea gift. We've gotten into some like custom small trophy stuff where like if you want like if you don't want to do, and we can do like a Yeti cup or something, but if you don't want to like do the standard tea gift, we can come up with something really kind of memorable and creative. Like it's nice. I call it, it's like a premium product. It's not a luxury product, and it's not like a tchotchke. It's not like, like I got to order 5,000 of these things from China to come printed on a plastic thing. It's a nice item, and it's not like super cheap, but it's affordable. So like buddies trips, a lot of like, I do like a lot of like member guest type stuff with clubs. Those are the kind of the sweet spot for me. Like my goal for this whole thing, because we continue to add stuff. So it's the bag tags, the ball markers, and the divot tools, like the core products. Pretty soon we're going to be adding, like towels and pin flags, just some other little stuff that you can use either as trophies or put in as mementos. Nothing crazy, but like my goal is to be like your one-stop shop for your buddy's trip. Like, hey, like I need a tea gift for a buddy's trip. I don't want to spend $500 a head. Maybe I want to spend 50. I'm like, all right, cool. We'll make a cool box set for you with a ball marker and a bag tag and a divot tool. It's going to come packaged up. If you don't have a logo, we'll help you come up with one. If you have a logo, we've done some ground under repair. Shane Bacon and Kate, they do some awesome work, and guys will come to me with the logos they've created, and for them, or Seth, people like Seth who make these great event logos, and we're like, hey, we got this logo, can you turn it into something? And we'll do stuff like that. So like that's kind of like the bread and butter. Like for me, it's not like hopefully one day we'll get into some pro shops too with some custom stuff, and that's kind of on the longer term radar. But you got 10 guys. Like I don't do minimums either. Like you want one, I'll make you one. You know, you want 100, I'll make you 100. If you want 1,000, I'll make you 1,000. There's no minimum order. It's soup to nuts. Shipping, free design, free personalization. If you want every single person's name on the tag, give me a list of the names. We'll put them on the tags. We'll do it. Up to the day before the event and overnight them if you want me to. So it's just it's really what you want. So but like the bread and butter is that kind of 20 items, 20 guys in a group, or small events, member guest type stuff.
Yeah, nice little box to come in, something
Yeah, you
that
can
you
do it
can.
in a box. We're getting some cigar boxes now, like a nice wood
That's pretty
cigar
cool.
box, logo on there if you want that as
Yeah,
a little premium kind of box option. It's a little nicer than the little cardboard box.
yeah,
Want to keep that as a memento too. Throw it on your dresser, put your tchotchkes in there, your watches and your cufflinks and whatnots, something like that.
cufflinks.
That laser is going to burn right through those golf towels, though. So heads up.
100%. Yeah.
We got some other machines that we're using for the lasers. I tried the golf towel in there and it didn't really work out as planned. Yeah, that's why we keep the fire extinguisher next to it, just in case.
That's awesome. What's been one of the most rewarding things? We were going to ask you about the girls' golf
Yeah, I
charity
that's
thing.
it. Like it's the giving back part, and like I always keep like a whole stockpile of like ball markers and divot tools and like spare junk in my golf bag. So if I play with a stranger, I'm like, here, man, like here's a divot tool. It's just being able to give back this is really rewarding. Like I don't do it like I don't expect anything to come from it. It's just something I get to do. I'm lucky enough to be able to do it. If something good comes of it, be like, look, I'm a lucky guy. I can afford golf clubs and playing golf, and like not everyone can. So to the extent that I can help someone else, that's awesome. Yeah, for me, that's what's the good part about that.
Do you find yourself, I know you said day job there in the real estate finance side, but do you find yourself pretty much every night doing something with this?
Yeah, we're in
You gotten to that
quite a
point?
bit. And it's yeah, and it's getting more and more and more, and it's nights and it's weekends and it's time, and my wife's like, you gotta sleep a little. I'm like, yeah, we'll get there, we'll get to that day, but like people keep wanting stuff, and I want to make it for them, and like, and it's energizing.
Yeah. Maybe that leads into, I guess, another question. What's been the biggest challenge doing this?
Time. It's just and like you make a lot of mistakes along the way. Like it's my first like true like entrepreneurial venture. I come from like a corporate background, so like yeah, making mistakes along the way, and like just learning stuff and breaking expensive machines and tools. And you're like, man, that did not work out as planned. I spent $500 on this material and I destroyed it. Now I got to do it again. So just like the business stuff and like just like working with new stuff. I'm 100% like self-taught on all this. Like you got to learn the software. You got to learn every time you buy a new thing. You got to learn how to use it. I bought this printer. I don't know how to work this printer, and I got to figure out the software to make it work, and then figure out the machine to transfer everything onto the stuff. And then there's always something more, like, oh, it says I could do this, but now I got to buy this, and this to make it work the way they said it would work. So there's always something like that. But the learning curve is challenging. Like I learned how to design. With design software, I learned how to work an embroidery machine. I learned how to work a laser engraver, and eventually you get better the more you do it. But the first ones are always tough. I've, like you said, just started doing leather stuff, and I've destroyed a lot of leather, and leather ain't cheap in the process.
A lot of
Also,
cows have been
smells
killed in the
terrible when you're
process.
cutting it and engraving it with a laser. I'll tell you that. It smells awful.
I bet. Get your daughters out there. They don't
I'm
want to play
trying.
golf. Maybe they know how to
Right.
run an embroidery machine. They've got some
That's exactly
creativity in
right. I
there.
said we got to put them to work. I got small labor force that we got to get in order here.
That's right.
So, we talked and joked earlier that when you're, doing a side hustle in the golf business, you don't get to play a lot of golf, but, you've listened to the podcast. So we ask everybody, tell us
Yep.
about your most memorable golf shot.
So I have there's two that come to mind. So one was I was playing with my dad. I'm a relatively long hitter, and it's a short par five, and I flagged my second shot. It's like 3 feet. So I'm like, all right, easy eagle. And my dad's like, that's a gimme, good eagle. I'm like, I cannot in good conscience not putt this, and I did not even come close to hitting the hole with that putt.
Oh,
So that one was a tough one. But recently also I played with a buddy a couple weeks ago, and I did the speed training over the off season. So I
Nice.
picked up some pace, and it was a 265-yard uphill par four, and I got it all of my 3 wood, every single bit of it, and I hit it to about 10 feet. And I was like, all right, this works. This is great. I'm fast. This is what it's like. But, again, did not make the putt. Didn't convert. But, tap in birdie will take it any day of the week.
You find out the speed training counters the putting, and you're crushing everything off the green.
Exactly. You just yeah. So there's the rest of my game needs lots and lots of work, but
Listen,
those are two that kind of immediately jump to mind as memorable shots, both good and bad.
you didn't three putt it, so at least like you
I
still got par, right? Like you drove the
exactly
green and you didn't shoot five over or something like that.
exactly. That's all we can ask, really.
That's right.
Hey, golf friends. This is Robbie from Best Ball. Are you looking for the ultimate Myrtle Beach golf experience? Well, it's only a click away. Check out the two-play special at two of America's most awarded public golf courses and two of my personal favorites. Caledonia Golf and Fish Club and True Blue Golf Club are low country masterpieces featuring two iconic Mike Strantz designs. Play these two incredible courses for one great price. Visit truebluegolf.com to learn more about the two-play special and book your tee time today. That's truebluegolf.com.
Well, if you're a fan of the show, you know we do a thing we call the Quick Nine. We're just going to go back and forth, quick, easy questions.
Perfect.
So the first one is, what is the favorite course that you've played?
For sentimental reasons, probably Harbor Town. I took my dad for his 60th birthday.
Nice.
Played with my two brothers, so that was our foursome. So that was just like I played terrible. It was hard. I don't hit the ball straight enough, but it was just a really fun day. So for sentimental reasons, it gets it for me.
I'm in South Carolina. I've never played Harbor Town, so that one's on my bucket list
Yeah,
for
it's an
for
expensive
sure.
day.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. But I guess speaking of bucket list, do you have a bucket list course?
Uh, the big ones in Ohio. I'm in a big like in Ohio we have a lot of really good golf. A lot of it's private. So I'd love to get to Inverness at some point. I'd love to get to. I got invited last year to play at the golf club, and it's super exclusive in Ohio. It's one of the big ones, and it was the one day of like the whole 2 month span that I literally couldn't play.
Oh,
Usually, I was at my previous job. I had a really flexible schedule, and I could almost always make it work. And it was like I was like, literally, this is the only day we can get on. It's like literally the only window I couldn't do it. So I'd love to get out there. But those are kind of two like local, and then it's the standard stuff. I've never been to Bandon. That's
Yeah.
up there. I've been to Ireland, but I didn't play golf. I went with my wife. So I like saw a lot of wonderful, beautiful golf, and I'm like, man, I'd love to try my hand at links golf at someday, either in Scotland or Ireland and or both. But those, it's the standard stuff. And if someone wants to take me to Augusta, you could twist my arm. I'm
Yeah.
sure.
You'll bring him a bag tag.
Right, exactly. I'll bring you a couple bag tags and some ball markers, divot tools. I'll put whatever logo you want on it.
I'll
You
fix
name
all
it.
your divots, whatever you
Yeah,
want.
I'll
Yeah.
do all that stuff. If you want to take me out there.
It seems like Augusta National would could use some of those bag tags and stuff in the shop.
Be happy to help them. And they have quite the merch operation. I don't know if I can make enough fast
Yeah.
enough. The way they sell stuff, it's unbelievable.
you'd have to outsell the gnomes. So,
Yeah, well, that's tough.
I don't know if they're at the top, but who is your bucket list customer?
Really, any of those like tier one clubs, like that's. So I do the box set, and I have this dream of like a premium box set for like those type of clubs. Leather bag tag, embroidered logo, you know, for club members. Like this is what you get when you sign up for the club. Beautiful walnut cigar box,
Yeah.
leather bag tag, embroidered club logo, brass ball marker, nice divot tool. Welcome to the club. Nice towel. I'd love to do that. Any one of those kind of top tier clubs. I think that would be like a dream of mine. Is like it's in my head. I haven't produced those things yet, but like if I signed up one day, if I'm lucky enough to be a member at a club like that, and that's what you get is your box, you're welcome. Like I think that'd be cool.
Need to put their member number like somewhere on the side,
Yep.
like just
Yeah,
something
stamp
real
it on there
discreet.
like a gold stamp on that leather. Oh,
Right.
it's so good.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. All right. Who's your favorite golfer of all time?
Don't have one. I'm a Rory guy. I like Rory. I like what he's about. I like the way he does stuff. So I'm a big Rory fan. I kind of didn't really get into golf until after Tiger's heyday, so it's more of a recency bias. I've never been a Spieth guy. I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me. So I feel probably a Rory guy.
Well, allow that your dad and your brothers are your dream foursome, but who would be your second dream foursome?
So I prepared for this one, and my dad and brothers aren't in it. I would love to play with my two grandfathers both passed, whenever, and they were both golfers, but like I didn't start playing till after they played. So it'd be my dad and my two grandfathers, and then one day I have three daughters. I would love to play a round of golf with my three daughters when they're old enough to appreciate it and get around a little bit. They're little now, ages 3, 7, and 9, but like maybe like 20 years from now, when they're all kind of grown up, that'd be a fun day.
That'd be a
Don't
lot of
let the
fun.
3-year-old play with the laser engraver. She's got to stay away from that one.
Absolutely, I got to get
Yeah.
her some of those. I got to get her one of those toddler golf bags.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Charlie Golf
Give
Guy.
Tyler a call. Yeah.
I know,
Yep. That'll get her hooked.
I said we'll put some bag tags on them for them.
Heck yeah. All right. What pro golf tournament has the best trophy in your opinion, besides the one with the surfboard logo?
It's a good one. Pro golf tournament trophy. The Sanderson Chicken is a good one. In terms of like the mage, the green jacket's so good. Like it's
Right.
just, I mean, they have a trophy, which is even funnier. But
Yeah.
no one ever talks about it because the jacket's just so cool. I like stuff like that, like not like traditional stuff.
Yeah.
That's probably up there for me. And the claret jug is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
I stopped by when I was playing with Joe this weekend before we played. I went by the new USGA Golf House Pinehurst. They have the World
Pinehurst.
Golf Hall of Fame. And you see all this memorabilia, and you're reminded, you talk about like the kind of odd trophies, and you
Oh,
see
yeah.
the belt buckle that they gave out before the
Yeah,
claret
before the
jug.
claret jug, they used to have like a championship belt,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's awesome.
which
Like,
is cool.
yeah, it is really
I
cool.
didn't
But
think
I
it
did
was.
see I did see a replica of the trophy they give out for the Masters, so it was really sweet.
Yeah, that's cool. I think didn't one of like old Tom Morris or one of them like steal the belt and just didn't give it back, I think.
Something like that, or misplace it or
Yeah,
something.
it's
Yeah,
like, yeah, I'm keeping it. Yeah,
Yep.
get a new trophy.
yep.
All right. When you get a chance to go out on a Sunday, what is your favorite snack on the course?
So I'm an Uncrustables guy. So I play at like I said, crack of dawn, and I'm a push cart guy. I got a little cooler that like lives on my push cart. I throw one in there right at the turn. It's defrosted. It's perfect. Perfect snack at the turn.
Very nice. Well,
was
you
gonna
knew
ask
this
if-
question was coming. Oh, go ahead, Jonathan.
I was going to ask if it was going to be frozen or if you got it fresh out,
You
fresh in
gotta
the
let
morning
It thaws out perfectly by the turn.
by the turn. That's a good tip.
Jonathan's learning. All right. Well, you knew it was coming. What's your favorite golf course logo?
So I'm partial, as much as I love the new stuff that Seth and those guys are doing. I'm super partial to like I love Wingfoot. I think Wingfoot
Yeah.
is like it's just classic. It's classy. It's like it's a really cool logo. Guy I used to work for is a member there. I've been trying to get him to let me make them some bag tags. So yeah, like I think Wingfoot's like I just love. It's so classic.
It is really
Simple,
cool.
straightforward.
All right. Last question. What's next for Buckeye Bag Tags?
I think for me, it's just kind of more the same. It's been organic, and I like it that way because I get to work with a lot of fun people. I don't want to press it too hard yet. Maybe one day when I have a little more time to spend on it. So just kind of, I'd love to get into some more pro shops and some bigger stuff. So I'm hopeful, that that's on the horizon in the not too distant future. But until then, it's just a lot of keep on keeping on and meeting people along the way. I've been fortunate enough that people trust me with their events and their trips, and sometimes I get invited to play at places I otherwise wouldn't, which is a nice little bonus. And
Always good.
for me, that's good enough for right now, and we'll take it as it comes.
Well, we definitely appreciate you coming on and sharing your story. After being on, you might get one or two more people
Yeah.
to come get some stuff. And like you said, I love the fact that you don't have minimums, right? Because that opens the door for, hey,
Yeah.
me and Jonathan and a couple buddies are going to go play. We want something cool and unique,
Yeah.
and we could do it. Or my son and I are going to go do it, and we want to, make it memorable and have something to keep or throw in the bag forever. So,
Yeah,
I-
I get some cool stuff like that once in a while. I had a mother send me like a little drawing her son did, and we engraved it onto a tag. It was like best dad ever, hole-in-one dad. We get stuff like that too. Like I want
That's
one
cool.
for my dad. Like send me the art and we'll turn it into an engravable and we'll put it on there. And it's like that's the stuff that like it makes you smile. Like look, I'm not getting rich off bag tags, but like look at this guy probably had an awesome Christmas and he's got that on his bag. And every time he plays golf, he gets to see his little note from his son. How cool is that?
Yep.
You're making grown men cry all over the golf course. I love it. I love it. Well, Jim, we really appreciate it. Everybody needs to go visit buckeyetags.com. Follow him on all the social media stuff at Buckeye Tags. And yeah, go check out his stuff. If
Yeah,
you have an
honestly,
idea or if you don't, find him. He can help you.
yeah, honestly, yeah. DM me on Instagram. Hit the contact email on the website. The website has a web store, but really just shoot me an email and like you're gonna come up with something a lot cooler when we do it that way.
Very nice. Well, we're big fans. We're excited to finally get to chat with you. We'll be for sure helping to tell the story of Buckeye Bag Tags and see if we can get some more folks going to you. So, for Jonathan and Jim, this is Robbie. You guys have been listening to another episode of the Whole Story Podcast.